Okay, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm going to be making the dress that was on the thumbnail. So first I'm going to be drafting my pattern. For this pattern paper I'm using a bunch of A4s that I glued together because I did not have a cardboard. So first I'm going to be marking my shoulder measurement, and that is going to be 8 inches. My shoulder measurement is actually 16 inches divided by 2, that's 8 inches. And then I'm going to be marking my shoulder width and my shoulder depth, which is 3 by 3 inches, like you see me doing there. Okay, so after marking the 3 by 3 inch point, I'm going to square it up with my ruler, and I'm going to be curving it in that block. You see me doing that in a few seconds. Then after that I'm going to come down on my shoulder measurement by 1 inch at that 8-inch mark, and I'm going to slant it to the top like that. This is me curving the neck hole depth for the front. After that I'm going to be marking my armhole depth, which is actually my bust measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5 inch. When I've marked that, I'm going to square that up. Not really square, I'm just going to roll it together like that. Then I'm going to start marking my body measurement. This is my bust divided by 4, under bust divided by 4, and my waist divided by 4. I'm going to connect them together. So after that I'm going to be extending my neckline by 3 inches. This is going to serve as the extra sleeve, the short sleeve that just joined to the shoulder measurement. Then I'm going to be curving that into the armhole line like that. Then I'm going to be marking my dart lines. When I've marked my bust point, I'm going to connect them with a ruler, and since this style has a princess dart curve, I'm going to come down by 4 inch on that line, and I'm going to be curving it into the dart. At the armhole, I'm going to also extend it by 1 inch, just so when I sew everything is going to lap well. This is just not to get any casualties. So after that I'm going to be adding my seam allowance, but first let us draw in the darts. For this dart I'm using half 1/4. You can use any amount you want to, if it's ½ inch, if it's 1 inch, depending on the dart that you usually draw for yourself. So I'm using half 1/4, and now I'm just going to mark that out as the dart, and I'm going to be adding this allowance on the side, including my sewing allowance. When I finish adding that, I'm going to roll it together and connect my armhole like so. After that I'm going to be marking the downside, which is going to be that curved design before the gathers. So from that point I'm coming down by 4.5 inch here, but I actually reduced that later on because it was too long for me. I used 2.5 inch in the end, but you can use whatever you want to use depending on your preferences. After that I'm going to mark my hip measurement divided by 4 is 10, but I added like 3 inches to it because the hip design for this style is kind of exaggerated at that hip point. So I then came down by 12 at first, but I'm still going to be reducing it to 10 because it was very long. Just stop the design where you like it to sit in the end. So after you've decided where you want it to stop, then you're going to just curve it like an N shape and then slope to the down like how I'm doing in this video. After that, what's left is just to cut your design out from the cardboard. Okay, so when you're done cutting the front, I'm going to be making the back pattern. First, I've drawn in my 1 inch zipper allowance, and I'm going to be placing the front pattern on the back card paper so that I can determine the same, like I can get the same size and the same neck width, so it's going to match with the front. So now just lay them down like that. You can pin yours if you want, or use something to put on it. Then I'm going to be marking where the pattern stops. I'm just going to be tracing out some important things like this shoulder slope as well, and also the lines for my measurement, like the bust line, the hip line, and the bust line, the under bust line, and the waistline. I'm also going to be making the neckline 1 inch deep because that's how the back is supposed to be. Okay, so I'm just connecting the bust line, connecting the under bust line, the chest line, and also the waistline. Once I'm done with that, I'm going to be marking my dart lines still with that same bust point, the same way I did the front. Then I'm going to be curving it into the princess dart design, like so. This curve was not giving. I'm going to do it again. So after that, I'm going to be marking the back dart, which is like I'm using 1/2 inch on both sides. Then I'm just going to connect that straight to the chest line or bust line, straight to the bust line, like I'm doing. I'm using this yellow cardboard under because I realized that this marker was staining the tiles very badly. If it was a cardboard, it would not even stain like this. So after that, I'm going to be marking my body measurements again just to confirm. The front one had a lot of allowance because of the darts. So I'm going to also mark my dart allowance and the sewing allowance. Then I'm going to connect everything together. Okay, so now for the sewing, the first thing is just to separate the lining from the main fabric. Then I'm opening it up like you see me doing in the video. Then I'm going to be joining the two sides like this, starting from the down to the top side. I'll do the same for the front, the lining, the back, everything, and I'll come back and show you how to join the shoulders. When you finish joining the main fabric and the lining fabric, you need to join them together, right side facing each other. Right sides facing each other. Then you can iron it as well, so it's going to look very neat. Okay, so when you finish ironing everything, you're going to be joining the shoulders now. And this method I use to join my shoulder just allows me to have a very neat finishing. So I do this by pinning the front shoulder slope to the back shoulder slope like how you normally do, but instead for this pinning I'm not going to be involving the black lining on the back shoulder slope, only the lining and main fabric of the front to the main fabric of the back. Okay, so after pinning it, you're just going to pass your hand through the, look at the space there, you're going to pass your hand through the lining like this, like how I'm doing the video, and then pull everything through that side. Then when you line it up, you're going to pin everything together and then sew it. You can do this for both sides and you finish it. If this method is confusing for you, you can just join it the normal way that you're used to. Okay, so when you're done with the shoulders, the next thing would be to add the waistband, the down part. But for me, I want to add this little waistband to that side just so it can give the waistline a little bit of definition, so that you know that this is where the waistline is, because this point is kind of everywhere. So I just pinned it like 1 inch of fabric that I folded into 2 at the waistband. Then after I pinned that, I'm going to be adding that bottom half that I curved earlier. So to join that, I'm just going to sandwich the front piece in between the main fabric and the lining fabric of the curved down part like you see me doing in the video. I will do the same for the back piece as well, and I'm going to sew that down and get back to you. Okay, so after you've done that, this is what it should be looking like. So now the next step will be to join the dress at the sides, join the back piece to the front piece like I'm doing in the video. Okay, so as for how I joined my own, this is how I marked my body measurements, and then towards the end of this crab shape, the design on the downside, I narrowed the seam line, and this is what it's looking like after I finished sewing it. if the dress is still big at that hip line, since you added a lot of allowance there, you can also shape it to your liking. And then if the cap of the sleeve is pointy, you can also sew it down so it can curve well. Mine was a little bit pointy, so I'll be sewing that down as well. When you're done with that, next step will be to add the gathers. For my own dress, I'm going to be using a plain black fabric. I'm still deciding, I don't know yet, but put whatever you like. And this is how it's looking like so far. Sorry that I was not done with this dress, but this is the progress so far. You can go ahead and make yours. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.